tutorial, we'll cover how to adjust table joins in a report. So today we're going to talk about how to adjust table joins. So, what is a table join? A table join is instructions in a report on how two tables should be connected and what data should be pulled from those tables. If we have two tables in our report, the computer has three options for what data it pulls from those two tables. It can pull all of the data from table A and only the data from table B where there's matching records. It can pull all of the data from table B and only the data from table A that matches. Or it could pull only those records where there's a match between table A and B. Well, what does that mean in practical terms? So, for instance, I could ask the report to show me contacts and donations. I could take my contact table and my donation table and link those together. So the report has the option to show me all of my contacts and any donations I've made. That's all my data from table A and matching records from table B. So it shows me everybody in my database regardless of whether or not they've made a donation, and then it will show me if they made a donation. It could show me all of my donations and then any contact information. Now in this example, there's not going to be any donations that don't have contact information. So all the data from table A and only matching data from table B doesn't really work in this scenario. That's the same as option C, which is only show me records that match, because I can't have donations without contact information. However, if I did show me event registrations and donations, then I do have three separate scenarios. Show me all event registrations or event registrants and any donations they've made. Show me all donations or all donors and any events they've attended. Or only show me event registrants who've made a donation, or only donors who've registered for an event. So I can get three very different reports depending on how I instruct the computer to join those tables. If you're getting weird data on your report, if you're getting all your contacts, for instance, regardless of the other criteria, let's say you said only show me donors or donations and you're getting all contacts in your database, or you're trying to pull up event registrants and you're getting all your contacts, almost always the culprit is bad table join, and that you need to fix your table join. So this is why you'd want to be able to know how to adjust your table joins. And doing it is actually super simple. So what we're going to do is from the main menu, we're going to go into an enhanced report, and you can only do this on a standard report, by the way. If you have an express report, you cannot adjust table joins. You will have to convert that report to a standard report first, and we do have a separate tutorial on how to do that. So I'm going to go into, let's see, I have a good one here. So I'm going to edit this report. And from edit mode, we're just going to go into our report options, which is the little gear on the toolbar. So here we go. Here's my report. Here's our report options. We're going to click this. We're going to go to Advanced and Joins. And we're going to click that, and it's going to bring up an option. Now what it's going to do is it's going to bring up one set of joins, one set of relationships for every table, every pair of tables I have in my report. So this report just has two tables. It has contacts and donations. If I also had contact and donations and events, I would then have a set of joins for contact and events, and I'd have a set of joins for donations and events. And so what it's going to ask you to do for each pair of tables is, by default, it's going to select the option C, all records that match between table and A and B. So in this case, show me all contact data that has donation data. So this is saying, by default, if nothing else was checked, it would only show you contacts who have donations. However, I could say, show me contact data that does not have donation data. So that means show me all my contacts, regardless of whether or not they have a donation. and then show me any donations that they have. So this is if you're doing a donation report and it's showing you all your contacts, even if they're not donors, and you don't want to see that, this is almost always the box that is checked that is causing you that headache. Your other option, this is option B here. So this was option A, option B, and by default option C is checked. Donation data that does not have contact data. Now, this one, the system just presents you option A, option B, and option C by default, even if one of those options couldn't possibly exist in your database. And in this case, option B could not exist. You cannot have donation data that does not have contact data. There's no way to save that record in your system because name, contact, is required field when you're entering a donation. If you've got donation data that doesn't have contact data, then something went awry in your system. So it's presenting you with option B, but option B doesn't exist as a realistic scenario in Fundly CRM. So when I'm done, I can click OK, and then this will adjust my table join. So I could, for instance, uncheck that, and it would change my report results. And so, for instance, let's show you guys what this looks like. So first I'm going to say only show me contacts who have donations. And on my report, I'm saying show me contact name and the donation amount and donation date. And if I run this report, everybody on the report should have a donation. There shouldn't be any people now that do not have a donation. And here you go. So I've got, everybody's got a donation. But now if I go back instead and I adjust that join, and I say show me, in addition to option C, everybody who has a donation, show me all my contacts even if they don't have a donation. And now I run that report. And you notice it's taking a little longer here. So now as I go through, I should find, and you can see I've got very different results. Before it was like, it was Lomesh had everything on this page, and now it's a different order. And my report is much longer this time. And so as we go through here, there we go. And so now after I got through all my donation data at the end of the report here, suddenly I've got all of these people and none of them have any donations. And this is because I changed that join and said show me all my contacts. Now the order that this is in is based on my sort order, which I don't even know what I have set here. The report was sorting by contact city, so that's why we had to page through 13 pages to find those donations. But we would, or those non-donations, I should say, those contacts without donations. But if I change that, those would have been intermingled in. But anyway, so you get the idea of how adjusting the table joins works. Now, I'm going to switch to a different report here for a second and find something a little more complicated. This one might be it. Now, as I said, you're going to get a set of joins for every pair of tables that are linked in your report. So that report that I was just in only had 2 tables, so it only had 1 set of joins. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so this is apparently a bad report option. I don't know. Oh, this one only has 1 data category. That's why I can't get any joins. There's no tables, multi-tables in that one. Let's try possibly this one. Okay, so now this one you'll see there's 2 sets here, right? Because now I have the household view and contacts and member view tables. I've got 3 tables, so I've got 2 sets of joins because household view and contacts are joined together, and contacts and member view or membership, or members I should say, is connected. So I've got two sets of joins to manage here. Now, if you understand joins and know what you're doing, you can edit the joins further. You can edit the primary key in each table, that is the fields that are linked to each other, usually an ID field, and which are coming from and to. Basically, we're talking left joins and right joins, or inner joins and outer joins here, basically, is what we're talking about. You can therefore switch these and change these if you want to adjust your results. Again, I only recommend that if you understand joins and know what you're doing, because otherwise you could seriously mess up your report and how your tables are joined together for any given report. If you make changes and your report gets really crazy, you can then delete this join. So I could unlink my household view from my contacts table if I wanted to, and it's going to say, do you really want to do that? And I can say okay, and now I've deleted it, and now those tables aren't even linked anymore, so it's not going to pull any data that is joined between those two tables. And if I either do that on purpose and realize I didn't want to do it, or I deleted it to reset it because I changed the joins and then didn't like how I changed those, and I want to say back to the default, you could delete it, and then what you're going to do is you're going to click this recreate. Say okay, and it's going to basically reset everything to the default and put it back into your table. So if you've been playing around with your joins and you've done some crazy things and you can't remember what it was originally set to, but all you know is you don't like the results you're getting, you can go back and recreate these joins. You can add joins back in as well manually. So you do have a lot of control, and as you become more experienced with the reports and understand joins and how they work and how changing them affects your data, you do have the ability to make edits here and make changes, but you can always back out of anything that you've done just by recreating. And that is how you can manage your table joins.